It's Cleveland Indians baseball. We're here on Sunday, July 25th, 1971, to present the first game of a doubleheader between the Cleveland Indians and the Kansas City Royals. Since the All-Star game, the Indians are 5 and 4. They've been hitting the ball with pretty good authority, and their pitching seems like it's stabilized a little bit. I mean, will this keep up? We'll just have to wait and see. Cleveland fans are still buzzing about the news of Sam McDowell's fine, and there's open speculation about what caused the incident out in California. And there's also some buzz in Cleveland. The Cleveland Browns training camp opened at Hiram College. Their new coach, Nick Skorich, is predicting that the Browns will have a much better season than last year, which wouldn't be very difficult because the Browns had the worst season in their history last year, winning only 3 games. But he is predicting a playoff run this year, and he expects Purdue All-American Mike Phipps to be the quarterback to lead the Browns this season. Yesterday, the Indians beat the Royals 4-1. Greg Nettles was 2 for 4. He had a home run yesterday. And let's see, they also beat the Royals Friday night 6-2. That was a complete game victory by Mike Paul. We're going to take a short time out and be back with the starting lineups for today's game. All right, we're at Cleveland Stadium. This is game one of a doubleheader between the Cleveland Indians and Kansas City Royals. Paul Splittorff starts for Kansas City. He's made 10 starts, and he is 5 and 3 with an ERA of 2.96. This is his second start against Cleveland. He's 0 and 1 with an ERA of 18.90 against the Indians. He'll be opposed by Steve Dunning for Cleveland. He's made 19 starts on the year. He's 5 and 10 with an ERA of 5.77. This is his third start against Kansas City. He's 2 and 0 with a 1.88 ERA against the Royals. It's 83 degrees. Wind speed is 6 miles per hour in from right field. So it looks like the wind might be coming off the lake today. Starting lineup for Kansas City, leading off the shortstop, Cookie Rojas. Batting second to third baseman, Paul Shaw. Batting third to center fielder, Amos Otis. Batting fourth to left fielder, Ed Kirkpatrick. Batting fifth to catcher, Jerry May. Batting sixth to right fielder, Joe Keough. Batting seventh to first baseman, Bob Oliver. Batting eighth to second baseman, Bobby Canup. And batting ninth to pitchers, Paul Splittorff. On defense, the Indians will have Chris Chambliss at first, Eddie Leone at second, Fred Stanley at short, Greg Nettles at third, Frank Baker in left, Ted Uhlaender in center, Roy Foster in right, Chuck Hinton catching, and on the mound, Steve Dunning. Dunning brings some serious heat to to the plate. The only pitcher on the roster right now that throws harder than Steve Dunning is Sam McDowell. Last night, the Indians had a banquet celebrating the 1948 World Champions. They scheduled it for this weekend since Bob Lemon, the top pitcher on that team, and winner of 2 games in that World Series, would be in town for it since he's the manager of the Royals this year. Leading off in the first inning for Kansas City will be Cookie Rojas, hitting .274, 3 home runs and 38 runs batted in. Here's the first pitch. Strike 1 called. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Inside, ball 1. It's a grounder up the middle. Knocked down by Dunning. Throws it to Chambliss. Its throw is too high. Chambliss leaped and he was able to keep it in front of him. But that's error number 2 on the season for Dunning. Got Rojas on first. Nobody out, and here's Paul Shaw, who's hitting .269 with 5 home runs and 39 runs batted in. Pick off the first. Rojas is back. Shaw's hitting .268 against right-handers. That's a little low. Ball 1. There goes Rojas. The throw from Hinton. Rojas is safe. That's stolen base number 9 for Rojas. Dunning is still learning how to keep runners close when they're on base. That pitch was a ball. Ball 2. Ball 3. That was right down the middle for strike 1. It's a base hit in the right field. That gets all the way to the wall. It's in the corner. Foster's after it. Rojas rounds third. He'll score. Shaw going for third. He slides. He is safe. So Shaw continues the Ray Cleveland hitting. Let's see what. Yeah, he's hitting .387 against Cleveland. 12 for 31 with a double, a home run, and now a triple. And 7 walks. It's nobody out. Runner on third. Kansas City takes an early 1-0 lead. Here's Amos Otis hitting .269 with 9 home runs and 42 runs batted in. That's outside. Ball 1. Got the inside corner. Strike 1. Swing and a miss. Strike 2 on the curveball. Low, ball 2. Too low, ball 3, full count. He fouls it back. Otis is a base hit in the center field. Eulander's up with it. Shaw scores. It's 2-0 Kansas City. Here's Ed Kirkpatrick. He's hitting .232 with 6 home runs, 46 runs batted in. He had a 2-run home run Friday night And he's another one who always saves his best for playing against the Indians. He's hitting .324 against Cleveland. 12 for 37 with 4 doubles and 2 home runs. Amos Otis on first. He has 32 steals on the season. High, ball 1. Otis leads the American League in steals. There goes Otis. Throw to second. He's in there easily. That's stolen base number 33 for Otis. Second stolen base of the inning for the Royals. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Down low, ball 2. Too high, ball 3, full count. Kirkpatrick gets a fly ball in the right field. Foster going back, and that's gone. Home run. Home run number 7 for Kirkpatrick. That's his 3rd against Cleveland. It's 4-0, Kansas City. The Indians still haven't registered an out yet. Here's the catcher, Jerry May. He's hitting .243 with no home runs and 1 run batted in. Jerry May came over in the offseason from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pittsburgh Pirates, they're the hottest team in baseball right now. Pirates, the Oakland A's, and the Chicago White Sox are the 3 hottest teams. The 3-2 pitch. It's a fly ball in the center field. Uhlaender drifting back, and he's got it. 1 out. Here is Joe Keough. He's hitting .268. No home runs and 4 runs batted in. The 2-1 pitch. It's a grounder to third. Nettles is up with it. Throw to first. That's a bang-bang play. He's safe. He legged it out. That's the 4th hit of the inning for Kansas City. Here's Bob Oliver, who's hitting .263 with 10 home runs and 46 runs batted in. Sitting .310 in July. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Caught the inside corner, strike 2. High and outside, ball 1. Too low, ball 2. Liner down the third base line, that's foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 2 outs. Here is Bobby Canup. He's hitting .186. No home runs, 7 runs batted in. He came over to Kansas City during the offseason from the Chicago White Sox. He's been a major leaguer since 1964. Spent the bulk of his career with the Angels. Splittorff's on deck. That caught the outside corner. Strike 1. Another fastball low. Ball 1. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Too high. Ball 2. 2 balls. 2 strikes. 2 outs. Changeup. Just low. Ball 3. Too high. Ball 4. That's the first walk given up by Dunning. Here's the pitcher, Paul Splittorff. He's hitting .077. He has 2 hits and 26 at bats. One of his hits was a double. Inside, ball 1. High and outside, ball 2. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Fouls it back. Strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 men on. Hits a grounder to second. Leone tosses to Stanley for the out, but the Royals bat around. They score 4 runs, 3 of them earned. 4 hits, 1 error. They left 2 men on base. We go to the bottom of the first. It's Kansas City 4, Cleveland coming to bat. Cleveland starting lineup, leading off the second baseman, Eddie Leone. Batting second, the first baseman, Chris Chambliss. Batting third, the third baseman, Greg Nettles. Batting fourth, the right fielder, Roy Foster. Batting fifth, the shortstop, Fred Stanley. Batting sixth, the catcher, Chuck Hinton. Batting seventh, the center fielder, Ted Uhlaender. Batting eighth, the left fielder, Frank Baker. And batting ninth, the pitcher, Steve Dunning. Kansas City on defense has Bob Oliver at first, Bobby Knupp at second, Cookie Rojas at shortstop, Paul Shaw at third, Ed Kirkpatrick in left, Amos Otis in center, Joe Keogh in right. Catching is Jerry May, and on the mound, Paul Splitorf. Splitorf is a fastball pitcher. Keeps the ball low. He was called up on June 8th. He had 2 starts last season. Pitched 5 innings total. This year he has made 10 starts. He's pitched 4 complete games. He has a record of 5-3. ERA of 2.96. There's nobody no favorite really yet, I think, for the Rookie of the Year in the American League. But Splitorf is probably on the list. And for the Indians, I'd say Chris Chambliss and Fred Stanley are on the list too. The National League has several young players that look like it's going to be a choice between maybe Willie Montanez and the Phillies, Ralph Gard, Earl Williams for Atlanta. Maybe Dusty Baker of Atlanta as well. Now we'll see. We got 2 more months left of this season. All right, leading off for the Indians in the second inning is Eddie Leone. He is hitting .281, 2 home runs, 31 runs batted in. Here is the 1-0 pitch. Grounder up the middle. Knupp to his right. Has it. Throws him out. 1 out. Here is Chris Chambliss, hitting .293 with 6 home runs, 24 runs batted in. He was the Rookie of the Year in the American Association last year. The Indians wanted to bring him up during spring training, but he got injured during spring training. So he started the season in Wichita again. Then he got hurt in Wichita. the Indians finally were able to call him up at the end of May. And he debuted on May 28th. He went 0 for 5 in his first game, but then his second game, May 29th, these were both against the White Sox. He went 4 for 4 and scored 2 runs. And he has been playing really well this year. He's a prime candidate for Rookie of the Year, I think. Sitting 281 in July. The 2-1 pitch. Liner down the first base line. That's foul. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He got fooled on that curveball. 2 outs. And here's Greg Nettles. Nettles is hitting .277. He has 27 home runs, 84 runs batted in. He leads the league in RBIs, and he is tied with Rico Petrocelli of the Red Sox for the league lead in home runs. He's hitting .268 in July. The 3-0 pitch. Ball 4. He's taken all the way on that one. Bob Lemon, he is high on this kid, Paul Splittorff. He thinks that the Royals have the nucleus of a club that will be contenders sooner rather than later. They're 43 and 52 right now in 4th place. They won 69 games in their first season, 1969, and then last year they improved to 71 wins. Despite being, 9 games under 500, Lemon is still predicting a 500 finish for the Royals this year. Here's Roy Foster. He's hitting .247, 14 home runs, 46 runs batted in. He has a 9-game hitting streak. He is the hottest member of the Cleveland Indians with the bat right now. He's hitting .364 in July. Inside on the black, strike 1. Low and away, ball 1. Way inside, ball 2. Too high, ball 3. 3 balls, 1 strike. It's a fly ball into center field. Otis going back, he's on the track, and he's got it. 3 outs. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left. We played 1 inning in Cleveland. The Royals lead the Indians 4-0. It'll be Rojas, Shaw, and Otis for the Royals in the 2nd inning. Rojas is 0 for 1. He was safe on Steve Dunning's error in the 1st inning. The 2-1 pitch. Hits a sharp grounder to short, or third. Nettles to his left has it and throws him out. Looked like Nettles cut in front of Stanley. Since he had the easier play, Stanley would have had a backhand that one. 1 out. Here's Paul Shaw. He's 1 for 1. He tripled in the 1st, and that scored Cookie Rojas with the 1st run of the game. It's a liner in the left field, but that's Baker running in. He's got it. 2 outs. Here is Amos Otis. He's 1 for 1. He singled in the 1st. That scored Shaw. The 1-2 pitch. Hits a bouncer to short. Stanley's up with it. Throw to first. 3 outs. 3 up and 3 down. Nothing across for Kansas City in the second. We go to the bottom of the second. Kansas City 4, Cleveland nothing. Fred Stanley leads off for Cleveland. He's hitting .321, 4 home runs, 29 runs batted in. Stanley was called up on May 20th. He is another candidate for Rookie of the Year, I think, in the American League. He's hitting .296 in July, the 2-2 pitch. Grounder to first. Oliver has it. He'll take it himself. 1 out. Here's the catcher, Chuck Hinton. He's hitting .213, 2 home runs, 13 runs batted in. He is filling in right now for the injured Ray Fosse. Fosse has an injured hand. He's still day-to-day. They think he may start next week. Indians got a tough week ahead of them after today. The West Coast invades Cleveland with California coming in this week coming up, and Oakland will be in this weekend. And Oakland is hot. They've won 9 out of their last 10. In fact, they swept 2 from a short series in Oakland last week on, that was Tuesday and Wednesday. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Hinton hits a base hit in a left field. Here is Ted Uhlaender. He's hitting .303 with 1 home run and 25 runs batted in. He came over from Minnesota along with Greg Nettles before last season, that trade that sent Louis Tiant from Cleveland to Minnesota. Tiant didn't amount to much with Minnesota. They released him. And now he is pitching for the Boston Red Sox. Tiant was one of the Indians' best pitchers in the 60s, and then he just dropped off. He couldn't adapt, it seemed like, to the lowering of the mound. And he also, I think he held out that, or he didn't play winter ball that winter. So he felt like he was starting from behind in spring training. He may have been a short holdout as well. The 1-0 pitch. Uhlaender bounces one into right field. That's a base hit. Hinton stops at second. He's got Chuck Hinton ahead of him. Chuck Hinton is one of the slowest base runners in the majors. Here's Frank Baker. He's hitting .245 with 1 home run and 17 runs batted in. He was called up on June 11th. Got off to a slow start in June, hitting .194, but he's hitting .292 in the month of July. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Strike 2 called. Too high, ball 1. Strike 3. He swung and missed at that one. 2 outs, and here's the pitcher, Steve Dunning. He's hitting .195, no home runs and 4 runs batted in. He is 8 for 41 on the year. Eddie Leon's on deck. Ooh, that was a changeup. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Inside, ball 1. It's a liner in the left field, but it's right at Kirkpatrick. Kirkpatrick was perfectly placed. The Indians get no runs, 2 hits, no errors. They left 2 on. We played 2 in Cleveland. It is Kansas City 4, Cleveland nothing. And Ed Kirkpatrick, who made that catch to end the inning, he leads off. He's 1 for 1. He hit a 2-run homer in the first inning. His 3rd home run of the year against the Indians. Swing and a miss, but the ball gets past Hinton. And Kirkpatrick is on first. Dunning gets credited with a strikeout. And a wild pitch. So that's his first strikeout, or his second strikeout of the game, but the Royals have a runner on first, nobody out. Here's Jerry May, who's 0 for 1. He flied out in the first inning. Ball 1. Grounder up the middle. Stanley has it. Steps on second for 1. No throw to first. 1 out. Here is Joe Keogh. He's 1 for 1. He had an infield single in the first inning. Strike 1 called. Ball 1. Too low. Ball 2. In the dirt. Ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. Ball 4. Second walk of the game given up by Dunning. Neither pitcher is having much success with his control so far. Here's Bob Oliver. He's 0 for 1. He struck out in the first inning. Low and outside, ball 1. He hits one in the air in the right field. Foster's after it, but it makes the seats. Outside, ball 2. High and inside, ball 3. Swing and a miss, strike 2, full count. Pops it up, third base side. Nettles is after it. Will it make the seats? Oh, it's out of play. Count remains full. Liner down the third base line, but that's foul. Ball 4, outside. Third walk given up by Dunning. Second walk of the inning. Bases loaded, 1 out. Here's Bobby Knupp. He walked in the first. Paul Splitorf's on deck. Swing and a miss, strike 1. It's a grounder to third. Nettles throws to the plate. He's out. He threw Jerry May out at the plate. So 2 outs. And here's Paul Splitorf. He's 0 for 1. He grounded into a force play in the first inning. Fly ball down the right field line. Foster going after it. But that makes the seats. Strike 1. Foul tip, strike 2. It's a bouncer to first. Chambliss has it. He'll take it himself. 3 outs. Dunning got himself out of a jam there. No runs, no hits, no errors. They left the bases loaded. We go to the bottom of the third. Kansas City 4, Cleveland nothing. Eddie Leon leads off for the Indians. He's 0 for 1. He grounded out in the first inning. The 2-2 pitch. It's a grounder to second. Canoop up with it. 1 out. Here's Chris Chambliss. He's 0 for 1. He struck out in the first inning. Inning 278 in July. The 1-2 pitch. Hits a grounder to third. Shaw up with it. Bang, bang, play. He's out. Here's Greg Nettles. He walked in the first inning. The 3-1 pitch. He hits a bouncer to third. Shaw has a lot of time. He throws him out. 3 outs. Nothing across for the Indians in the third. We played 3 in Cleveland. Kansas City 4, Cleveland nothing. Let's go around the league. Bottom of the third in Detroit, the Oakland A's, the hottest team in baseball right now. They won 9 of their last 10. Lead the Tigers 3-1. Jim Northrup hit his 17th home run for Detroit. That is Vita Blue against Mickey Lolich. Bottom of the third in Baltimore. The Angels lead the Orioles 2-0. That's Andy Messersmith against Pat Dobson. Boy, the Orioles are really scuffling right now. Let me double check what they have. Orioles have won just 2 out of their last 10. While Oakland, I misspoke. They've won 7 of their last 10. They're on a 6-game winning streak. Yeah, it's the Pirates who won 9 of their last 10. So my apologies for that. Bottom of the first at Comiskey Park. No score between the Senators and the White Sox. It's Bill Gogoleski against Bart Johnson. Bottom of the third in Montreal. The Cardinals lead the Expos 2-1. That's Jerry Royce against Carl Morton. Last night, the Expos swept a doubleheader from the Cardinals. Bottom of the first in Milwaukee. No score between the Yankees and the Brewers. That's Stan Bonson against Bill Parsons. Bottom of the third at Shea Stadium. The Astros and the Mets tied at 1. That's Wade Blassingame against Tug McGraw. Bottom of the third in Philadelphia. The Cubs lead the Phillies 2-0. That is Fergie Jenkins, who was the Cy Young Award winner last year. He's looking for his 14th win against Billy Champion. And bottom of the first in Minnesota, Red Sox and Twins, no score. That's Sonny Siebert against last year's Rookie of the Year, Bert Blyleven. Blyleven is looking for his 16th win. 16th win would tie him with Wilbur Wood of the White Sox, a knuckleballer who's able to come back and pitch on 2 days rest sometimes. Wilbur Wood said his biggest goal right now this season is to pitch and win both ends of a doubleheader. And that's the league news, and we're back at Cleveland Stadium for the top of the fourth. It's Cookie Rojas leading off, the top of the order for Kansas City. He's 0 for 2. He was safe on an error, and he grounded to third. The 1-1 pitch. It's a fly ball into center field. Ted Uhlaender drifting back, and he's got it. 1 out. Paul Shaw, he's 1 for 2. He tripled in the first. Drove in a run and later scored a run. The 1-2 pitch. It's a bouncer to first. Chambliss has it. He'll take it himself. 2 outs. And here's Amos Otis. He's 1 for 2. He singled in the first. That scored Shaw with the second run of the game. The 3-1 pitch. Ball 4. Fourth walk of the game given up by Steve Dunning. Otis, he already has 1 steal today. He leads the league in stolen bases with 33. Throw to first. He's back. Here's Ed Kirkpatrick. He's 1 for 2. He hit a 2-run homer in the first. That's his second home run this weekend against Cleveland. That's a strike, and Otis steals. Second base. Doesn't even draw a throw from Chuck Hinton. That's his second stolen base today. Stolen base number 34 on the year for him. He was a good acquisition for the Royals coming over from the Mets. Bob Lemon likes to play a fast and loose game on the base paths. And he thinks that the Twins are pretty successful with it. The 0-1 pitch. Grounder to second. Leone's up with it. The throw to first. 3 outs. No runs. No hits. No errors. 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Kansas City 4. Cleveland nothing. Kansas City has 4 runs, 4 hits, no errors. They've left 6 men on base. Cleveland has no runs, 2 hits, 1 error. They've left 3 men on base. Kansas City got on the board early. Cookie Rojas was safe on an error to open the game. Then he stole second. Paul Shaw tripled. That scored Rojas. Then Amos Otis singled. That scored Shaw, making it 2-0. Otis stole second. That was his first stolen base of the game. And then Ed Kirkpatrick hit a 2-run homer. Increased the Royals' lead to 4-0, and that's where we're at right now. Here is Roy Foster. He's 0 for 1. He flied out in the first. He has a 9-game hitting streak. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Here is Fred Stanley. He's 0 for 1. He grounded to Bob Oliver. The 0-2 pitch. Caught the corner. Strike 3 called. Strikeout number 4 for Splittorff. Here is Chuck Hinton. He is 1 for 1. He singled in the second. It's a fly ball in the center field. Otis coming in, and he's got it. 3 outs. Nothing across for Cleveland. We've played 4. It is Kansas City 4, Cleveland nothing. Jerry May leads off the 5th for Kansas City. He's 0 for 2. Flied out in the first and grounded into a force play in the third. The 2-0 pitch. It's base hit in the right field. Here's Joe Keogh. He is 1 for 1. He singled on the infield in the first, and he walked in the third. Third inning, you might recall the Royals loaded the bases with one out, but they were not able to score. Low and away, ball 1. Strike 1 called. Swing and a miss, strike two. It's fly ball in right field. Foster going back. That is gone. Home run. Home run number one for Joe Keough. It is 6-0. Kansas City. There's some activity in the Indians bullpen. Steve Hargan is getting up to warm up. This was the Cleveland Indians bullpen at Cleveland Stadium. And actually, there was like a little covering shelter here and here in the visiting team bullpen. Bob Oliver, he's 0 for 1. He struck out in the first, he walked in the third. Strike three call. No. He chased that one out of the zone. One out. Here is Bobby Canup. He's 0 for 1. He walked in the first. And he grounded into a fielder's choice in the third. He grounded to Nettles, and Nettles threw Jerry May out at the plate. The 2-2 pitch. Strike three, but it got past Hinton. And Canup is safe at first. That is the second time that happened today. That the Royals were able to take first base on a strikeout that got past the catcher. And that one's being ruled a pass ball. So one out, runner on first. Paul Splittorff is up. He is 0 for 2. Grounded into a force play and grounded out. Throw to first. Canup is safe. They're playing Splittorff for the bunt. Hinton goes to confer with Dunning. Swing and a miss, strike one. Curveball, he lays down a bunt. Hinton's up with it. His only throw is the first. Eddie Leon takes the throw. 2 outs, and Canup takes second on the sacrifice. Here is Cookie Rojas. He is 0 for 3 today. Fastball. Nice grab by Hinton. That almost got away from him. High and away, ball 2. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. It's a liner right to third. It is right at Nettles, and he takes it. 3 outs. But the Royals get 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors. They left 1 on base. We go to the bottom of the 5th. It is Kansas City 6, Cleveland nothing. Ted Uhlaender leads off for Cleveland. He is 1 for 1. He singled in the second. The 1-0 pitch. It's a grounder to second. Canup up with it. Throw to first. 1 out. Here is Frank Baker. He's 0 for 1. He struck out in the second inning. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Pinch hitting for Steve Dunning is Jim Clark. Mark was called up during the All-Star break. He is 0 for 2 on the season. And both of his at-bats have been as a pinch hitter. He is looking for his first major league hit. The 2-2 pitch. It's a liner off the mound, off of Splittorff. Rojas picked it up and threw him out. Let's look at that one again. That was right off of Splittorff's glove. Nothing across for Cleveland. We've played 5. It is an official game here in Cleveland. Kansas City 6, Cleveland nothing. Coming in to pitch for Cleveland, Steve Hargan, making his 20th appearance of the year. He has a record of 1-5 with 1 save, an ERA of 5.0. 60. I can't read that. 68 in the third innings. He's given up 80 hits, 6 of those home runs. He's walked 33 and struck out 30. He had arm surgery during the off season. And he got off to a rough start. They sent him down to Wichita for a month. He initially balked at that, but ended up pitching pretty well in Wichita. And he came back on June 22nd. And I think he's pitched better than his numbers are showing. He has a 4-game losing streak going back to April 17th. His lone win of the year was on April 10th against the Red Sox. And his 1 save was against Baltimore on July 11th. But he's been pitching pretty efficiently since he came back up. Paul Shaw leads off for Kansas City in the 6th. He is 1 for 3. He tripled in the first. The 3-0 pitch. Ball 4. Here is Amos Otis. He's 1 for 2. He singled in the center. That scored Shaw. And he walked in the 4th. He has 2 stolen bases today. Swing and a miss, strike 1. It's a grounder to short, to second for 1. And there'll be no throw to first. 1 out. Here is Ed Kirkpatrick. He's 1 for 3. He had a 2-run homer in the first. That's his 2nd home run of the weekend, this weekend. Ball 1. That's down and in, ball 2. Fouls it back. I saw online that Steve Hargan passed away, I believe, the day before Halloween this year. He life, he had an excellent rookie year with the Indians, and then he seemed like he spent the rest of his career coming back from arm trouble. I mean, he kept coming back. He was playing into the 70s, like the late 70s. He was part of the expansion draft. I think he went to Toronto. I think he was one of the original Blue Jays. Guy had some guts coming back with arm troubles and surgeries. Up and outside, ball 3. It reminds me a little bit of when I see him coming in this game. I always want to see him do good. It reminds me of sitting at Jacobs Field in the 90s watching Albie Lopez, a guy who seemed a little short on talent, but he always seemed like a gamer to me. I always was pulling for him to do good, and he wasn't all that good, but I was always hoping for the best for him. 3-2 pitch, fly ball down the right field line. That is foul. Strike 3 called. Oregon brought some heat on that one, 94 miles an hour. He's a fastball pitcher. Usually keeps the ball up in the strike zone. Yeah, my game is rookie. Well, he got into 16 games in 65. His first year as a regular was 1966. And he went 15-6 with 1 save with a 2.51 ERA. He walked only 45. He struck out 132. The next year, 1967, he struck out 177, but he walked 94, and he went 9-21. But his ERA was 2.72. Man, I remember that 1967 Indian season on this game. I couldn't wait for that season to end. One of the few times I thought about just fast forwarding through that season. Both the Dodgers and the Indians, they both stunk and worse. They were just both boring. One of the few times I thought about just zipping through and going right to the postseason, but I stuck it out, and since then, Hargan's strikeouts have gone down, and his walks have they've gone down a little bit too. But his innings pitched, he went from 267 2/3 in 67 to down to 145 in 1968, where he went 7-11, and the Indians were in contention for the pennant in 1968. Jerry May, he's 1 for 3. He singled in the 5th. Ball 2. Too high, ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. That's right down the middle for strike 1. May hits fly ball in right field. Foster going back, and he's got it. 3 outs. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It's Kansas City 6, Cleveland nothing. Eddie Leon leads off for the Indians. He's 0 for 2 today. He grounded to the second baseman in the first inning and in the third inning. It's a grounder to first. Oliver, he'll take it himself. 1 out. Here's Chris Chambliss. He's 0 for 2 today. The 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. That's strikeout number 6 for Paul Splittorff. And here's Greg Nettles. He's 0 for 1. He walked in the first inning. The 1-2 pitch. It's fly ball in the left field. Kirkpatrick back. He's at the wall, and he's got it. 3 outs. Nothing across for Cleveland in the bottom of the 6th. We played 6. Kansas City 6. Cleveland nothing. Kansas City has 6 runs, 6 hits, no errors. They left 8 on base. Cleveland has no runs, 2 hits, 1 error. They've left 3 men on base. Kansas City got on the board first. In the first inning, Rojas was safe on an error. He stole second. Shaw hit a triple. That's drove in Rojas. Then Amos Otis singled. That made it 2-0 Kansas City. Otis stole second. Then Ed Kirkpatrick hit a 2-run homer. That made it 4-0 Kansas City. And then in the 5th inning, Jerry May singled and Joe Keough hit a 2-run homer. And that made it Kansas City 6, Cleveland nothing. And that's where we're at right now. And in fact, leading off is Joe Keough. He's 2 for 2. He singled in the first, walked in the third, and hit a 2-run homer in the 5th. The 2-1 pitch. It's a grounder to third. Nettles up with it. Throw to first. 1 out. Here's Bob Oliver. He's 0 for 2 today. Full count. Base hit in the left field. Baker throws it back in. Here's Bobby Knupp. He is 0 for 2 today. Sitting 139 against right-handers. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Too high, ball 1. Outside, ball 2. It's a slow roller to third. Nettles, throw to second for 1. There'll be no throw to first. 2 outs. Here is Paul Splittorff. He's 0 for 2 today. Too low, ball 1. Strike 1 called. Low and tight, ball 2. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Curveball inside, ball 3. Full count, 2 outs. Runner on first, the payoff pitch. It's a grounder to first. Chambliss, he'll take it himself. 3 outs, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 7th. It is Kansas City 6, Cleveland nothing. Go back around the league. Bottom of the 7th in Detroit. Oakland leads the Tigers 5-1. That Dick Green hit his 5th home run for Oakland. That's still Vita Blue against Mickey Lolich. Oh, I have to take a timeout. All right, and where was I? Bottom of the 7th in Baltimore. The Angels lead the Orioles 7-2. Baltimore is really slumping right now. Sandy Alomar 3 for 4 today for California. California again. They'll be coming to Cleveland Tuesday night. That's Andy Messersmith against Ken Boswell. Or is that Dave Boswell? Ugh. Top of the sixth at Comiskey Park, the Senators and White Sox tied at 2. Dave Nelson hit his 4th home run for Washington. Yesterday, the White Sox swept the Senators in a doubleheader, and Ted Williams must have really been squirming in the dugout because in those 2 games, the White Sox recorded 24 strikeouts against Washington. Tom Bradley struck out 12, and Joe Horland struck out 11. In today's game, it's Bill Gogoleski against Bart Johnson. Bottom of the 7th in Montreal, the Cardinals taking the lead from the Expos. It's 3-2. Joe Haig hit his 16th home run for St. Louis. That is Patterson against Carl Morton. Top of the 4th in Milwaukee, the Brewers lead the Yankees 9-0. That's Jim Harden against Bill Parsons. Top of the 8th at Shea Stadium. Astros and Mets tied at 3. Jesus Alou is 3 for 4 today. That is George Culver against Danny Frisella. Top of the 7th in Philadelphia. Cubs lead the Phillies 4-1. Willie Montanez, somebody I mentioned earlier as a possible Rookie of the Year candidate, hit his 22nd home run of the year for Philadelphia. That is Jenkins against Wilson. And bottom of the 4th in Minnesota, the Twins lead the Red Sox 4-1. Harmon Killebrew hit his 26th home run of the year for Minnesota. That puts him 1 home run behind Greg Nettles and Rico Petrocelli. That is Sonny Siebert against Bert Blyleven. Bottom of the 7th, the Indians, Roy Foster leads off. He is 0 for 2 today. Hitting .351 in July. The 2-1 pitch. It's grounded to second. Canups up with it. Throw to first. 1 out. Here's Fred Stanley. He's 0 for 2 today. Hitting .288 in July. The 0-1 pitch. He hits a grounder to second. Canup is up with it. Throw to first. 2 outs. Here is Chuck Hinton. He's 1 for 2. He's singled in the second. He has had a rough game behind the plate. Letting 2 balls get past him. That negated turned strikeouts into runners on first. And let's see, I think he has 2 stolen bases against him, or 3? 3 stolen bases. One of those strikeouts that was negated, well, it's still a strikeout, but the runner took first. One was a wild pitch, and the second one was a pass ball. The 0-2 pitch. It's a grounder to third. Shaw is up with it. The throw to first. 3 outs. Nothing across for Cleveland. We played 7. It's Kansas City 6. Cleveland nothing. Top of the order for Kansas City. Cookie Rojas leads off. He is 0 for 4 today. The 0-1 pitch. Base hit into right field. Foster came running in for that one, but he got a bad jump on it. That's the 8th hit of the game for Kansas City. Here's Paul Shaw. He's 1 for 3. He tripled back in the first, and he walked in the 6th. He drove in a run, and he scored a run today. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Fouls it back, strike 2. The 0-2 pitch. Pops it up on the infield. Stanley takes charge, and he's got it for 1 out. Amos Otis, he's 1 for 3 today. He singled in the first, driving in a run, and he walked in the fourth. Ed Kirkpatrick's on deck. Outside, ball 1. Otis has 2 stolen bases today. Inside, ball 2. He leads the league in stolen bases. It's a base hit up the middle. Rojas rounds second. He'll take third as Eulander tosses it into the cutoff man. Runners at the corners. 1 out. Here's Ed Kirkpatrick, who's 1 for 4. He had a 2-run homer in the first. It's a base hit in the left field. Rojas scores. Otis rounds second. He'll take third. Stanley got a late jump on that one. It's 7-0 Kansas City. Here is Jerry May. He's 1 for 4. He singled in the 5th. Runners at the corners. 1 out. It's fly ball into right field. Foster drifting back. He's got it. Otis tags. He'll score. It's 8-0 Kansas City. Here is Joe Keogh. He's 2 for 3. He singled in the first. He walked in the third, and he hit a 2-run homer in the 5th. Fouls it back. Strike 1. Low and inside. Ball 1. In there at the knee. Strike 2. Strike 3 called. For Kansas City, they get 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors. They left 1 man on base. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It is Kansas City 8, Cleveland nothing. Ted Eulander leads off for Cleveland. He is 1 for 2. He singled in the second. The 0-2 pitch. It's a grounder to short. Rojas up with it. Throw to first, bang, bang, play. Eulander beats it out. That's the 3rd hit of the game for Cleveland. Here's Frank Baker. He's 0 for 2. He struck out twice today. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Check swing that was on the inside corner. Strike 2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He got fooled on the changeup there. 7th strikeout of the game for Splittorff. That's the 3rd time Baker struck out today. Pinch hitting for Cleveland is Jack Heidemann. Heidemann, going into spring training, was penciled in to be the Indians' starting shortstop, but he got injured in spring training and wasn't able to start play until April 24th. He had a good month of May, but he had a very poor June, and he lost his job to Fred Stanley, although in the month of July, he's hitting .429. Steve Mingori warming up for the Indians. Heidemann's hitting .091 as a pinch hitter, so be 1 for 11. On the season, he's hitting .227, no home runs, 3 runs batted in. Breaking ball below the knees. Ball 1. High. Ball 2. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Hits a grounder to first. Oliver up with it. He tosses it to Splittorf, covering. 2 outs as Eulander takes second. Here's Eddie Leone. He's 0 for 3 today. It's a blooper in a right field. Base hit. Eulander rounds third. He'll score. And the Indians are finally on the board. It's 8-1. Here's Chris Chambliss. He's 0 for 3. Swing and a miss on the fastball. Strike 1. High and away. Ball 1. Low and inside. Ball 2. Fouls it back. Strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Fouls it back. Count remains 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner on first. Indians are down by 7. Strike 3 call. That's the 3rd time Chambliss struck out today. 8th strikeout for Splittorf, but the Indians get 1 run, 2 hits, no errors. They left 1 on base. We go to the 9th inning. It is Kansas City 8, Cleveland 1. There's going to be some defensive changes for the Indians. Fred Stanley moves to second. Jack Heidemann remains in the game at shortstop. And Steve McGorry will come in to pitch. McGorry's making his 28th appearance of the year. He has a record of 1-1 with 6 saves. He has an ERA of 5.0. In 18 innings pitched, he's given up 17 hits, no home runs. Kind of unusual here at the Home Run Park in Cleveland. He has walked 8. He struck out 16. And McGorry will be in the leadoff spot in the batting order. Bob Oliver leads off the 9th for Kansas City. He's 1 for 3. He singled in the 7th. He's also struck out twice today. The 0-2 pitch. Base hit in the right field. Here is Bobby Knupp. He is 0 for 3 today. Strike 1 called. Ball 1. He hits a base hit up the middle. Oliver rounds second. He'll take third. Here's Paul Splittorf's spot. Let's see if he hits. Yep, he is coming in to hit. He's 0 for 3 today. He squares the bunt. Fouls it off. Strike 1. Lays one down. Nettles to Stanley covering first. 1 out as Knupp takes second on the sacrifice. So Splittorf will be coming out for pitch a complete game. And here's Quickie Rojas. He is 1 for 5. He was safe on an error, and he singled in the 8th. Ball 1. Too high, ball 2. Ball 3, 3 balls, no strikes. That's right at the knee, strike 1. Ball 4. First walk given up by Mingori. Bases loaded, 1 out. Here is Paul Shaw, who's 1 for 4. He tripled in the first. Strike 1 called. High and inside, ball 1. Caught the inside corner, strike 2. He hits a fly ball in the center field. Eulander going back. He's near the track. He's got it. Oliver tags. It is 9-1, Kansas City. Here's Amos Otis. He's 2 for 4 today. He singled in the first, driving in a run. He walked, and he singled in the 8th. He also has 2 stolen bases today. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Hits a grounder to short. Heidemann boots it. And the bases are loaded with 2 outs. That's Heidemann's 3rd error of the year. And here's Ed Kirkpatrick. He's 2 for 5. Hit a 2-run homer in the first. And he singled in the 8th that drove in Cookie Rojas. So he has 2 hits and 3 runs batted in today. Oh, they're calling him back. Lou Piniella will pinch hit for Kirkpatrick. Pinella's hitting .262 with 1 home run, 25 runs batted in. Piniella was a former Indians farmhand. He actually made it to the big club in '68, but because the Indians were in it almost right up to the end, he never got a chance to get into a game as a September call-up. He's 1 for 3 as a pinch hitter. Up and away, ball 1. It's a liner down the left field line. That is fair. It's in the corner. Knupp scores. Rojas scores. Piniella slides in a second with a double. It's 11-1, Kansas City. Here's Jerry May. He's 1 for 4. He singled in the 5th, and he had a sacrifice fly in the 8th. At the belt, strike 1. Hits a fly ball into right field. Roy Foster is there, and he's got it. 3 outs. But Kansas City gets 3 runs, 3 hits, 1 error. They left 2 on base. We go to the bottom of the 9th. It is Kansas City 11, Cleveland 1. Splittorff is going for his 5th complete game this season. Leading off is Greg Nettles. He's 0 for 2. And he has a walk. The 1-1 pitch. Pops it up on the infield. Rojas takes it. 1 out. Here's Roy Foster. He's 0 for 3. He has a 9-game hitting streak on the line. It's grounder right back to the box. Splittorff throws him out. 2 outs. Cleveland's down to their last out. It's Fred Stanley. He is 0 for 3 today. The 3-1 pitch. Base hit up the middle. Stanley keeps it alive. Here's Chuck Hinton. He's 1 for 3. He singled back in the 2nd inning. Ball 1. Curveball, strike 1. That was called a little late. Too high, ball 2. Fouls it back. Strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Strike three called. And that'll end the game. Kansas City wins 11-1. Kansas City had 11 hit runs, 13 hits, no errors. They left 12 men on base. Cleveland had 1 run, 5 hits, 2 errors. They left 5 men on base. Paul Splittorff, rookie who's looking like a phenom, gets the win. He's 6-3. Steve Dunning takes the loss. He's 5-11. Star of the game, obviously today, will be Paul Splittorff. Pitched a complete game, 9 innings, gave up 5 hits, 1 run. He walked 1. He struck out 9. He looked pretty impressive today. Had some issues with his control earlier in the game, and he settled down. Steve Dunning went 5 innings. He gave up 6 hits, 6 runs. 5 of those were earned. He gave up 2 home runs. He walked 4. He struck out 4. Steve Hargan didn't look bad in relief, I didn't think. 3 innings. He gave up 4 hits, 2 runs. They were both earned. He walked 1. He struck out 2. Steve McGorry had some trouble today, though. He pitched 1 inning, gave up 3 hits, 3 runs, but only 1 of those was earned. He walked 1. He got let down a little bit by his defense. And Kirkpatrick went 2 for 5 today with another home run against Cleveland. Joe Keough went 2 for 4. He had a home run. Eamon Sotis went 2 for 5. He had 2 stolen bases. Ted Uhlaender got 2 hits for the Indians. Once again, the final score for the first game of this doubleheader. Kansas City 11, Cleveland 1. We'll be back Saturday as the Cleveland Indians take on the red-hot Oakland A's. Hope you enjoyed this game. It was all right. Indians did get some good pitching in against a couple of rough innings, especially the first, but sometimes that's just the way it goes. Hope you enjoyed this game, and thank you for watching.